We're going to go through a little flight here and talk a little bit. We're going to start with your 5-star. This is flagship. This is the one that sells the most. It's most popular. What is it about this beer that you think people are really enjoy this beer?
Well, you know, it's a beer with a common name, and it's got a very unique taste. I can't say that there's, you know, it doesn't have a ton of hops in it or something to that effect, or fruit or something to that effect. It just has a unique taste to it. You know, I think there's a secret ingredient in there, so to speak, and there's no beer that we've tasted that tastes just like this 5-star.
Okay.
So it's a slightly sweet beer, and we use English Challenger and East Kent Golding hops in the beer. Okay. And the Challengers are grown locally here, not too far from Falls Brewery. So that's kind of nice. And of course, the beer is named after my 5 daughters. And it's the beer that I've made at home when I was home brewing, and brought it, scaled up the recipe a couple different times now through our expansions, and it remains a big time seller for us.
Yeah. And then, so up here, these are some of the hops then that are being grown locally. That are is that right? These came from.
Yep. These come from Fine Vine Farms, which is in Rochelle, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And they're actually harvesting as we speak right now. So we'll be going out there to get hops. And I was there inspecting hops last week, and he gave me this vine to hang up in our tap room. So that was pretty nice, Randy Ernest over at Fine Vine Farms.
Sure. And then you did do an IPA. I mean, it's almost
it's a necessity,
right? It's like
yeah,
it's not quite a requirement by law, but it's almost there to have that IPA if you're going to be in the craft market.
Yes, right. It's we are a malt forward brewery, to be sure, but you know, we have to have an IPA. I've actually been bartending back here at Bull Falls when I've had a group walk in, and to discover we didn't have an IPA, they turned around and walked out. I mean, that's how serious it is. So you got to have an IPA. There's a lot of the population that does enjoy a lot of the new flavors coming out in hops, like mango and stuff. And there's a lot of great hops grown in the Great Northwest for making IPAs if you like that kind of beer.
Right.
So it's an interesting style, to be sure. We just don't we don't really favor it here so much at Bull Falls.
Then you got getting back to the whole German roots, the Schwarzbier. I'm assuming is that a popular style in Germany, or what made you decide that I want to do a dark beer like this?
Well, again, this is a beer that I made at home, and this is the one I got some awards with brewing for homebrew competitions. So when you ask a question like, what is the beer that most people say, you know, doesn't look like it tastes, it's that. Because people sometimes tend to shy away from dark beers. They tend to think they're going to be big and thick, like maybe a stout or something, or they're going to be strong. But you're not going to find that in this beer. This beer is mostly Pilsner malt, and we add some Carafa malt to give it some darkness and a little bit of rose flavor, which blends good with the Pilsner sweetness. We call it the dark beer with the blonde soul.
And then with all the German background, all the German heritage that you really are into, of course, you're going to have an Oktoberfest, Marzen style, I'm assuming, with this Oktoberfest then?
Yeah, it's mostly Vienna malt. And this is the Oktoberfest is the first beer we ever brewed here in 2007. In part because if it didn't turn out, I knew I wouldn't have to brew it again until next year. Oh. Because commercially I had never brewed before, so this was the first beer that we made in 2007, and then coincidentally, when we put the addition on, the way the timing of the thing went, the first beer that we were able to brew in our new brewing equipment was Oktoberfest as well. So we love to make Oktoberfest around here. It's one of the greatest beers there is, I think, and it's just too bad that it's not able to be served all year round. And
yeah, well, I've always thought that too. Is it comes around, and it's this wonderful month and a half of this Marzen style beer, and then it goes away.
Right.
I always feel like I should stock up on this and keep it around for longer. But
I couldn't agree more with you there, Dan.